starting with forgiveness. The forgiveness process is what we use for guilt. It's also an extremely valuable process for beginning to attract the right types of relationships to us. It's been said before that in life, who we become are the people we hang out with and the books that we read. Who we become are the people we hang out with and the books that we read. I heard another speaker at one point say, I'd never hang out with somebody I didn't want to be. Kind of an interesting concept. Heard another speaker at one point say, if you want to know what your net worth is, he said, look at the sum total of the 3 people you hang out with the most, their net worths. Kind of combine it, calculate it, see what the average is, and you'll find out what yours is. I thought that was kind of interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting from a performance perspective. Who are the people that you bring around you? Are they people that raise you up to a higher standard of excellence? Are they people that hold you up to a higher standard of excellence? Are they people that pull you down? Afternoon as well. It's kind of like Mark Victor Hansen. How many of you know Mark Victor Hansen? Chicken Soup for the Soul. Right. One of the things he said when I wanted to become a millionaire, so I started hanging out with millionaires. He said then I became one, so I started hanging out with multimillionaires. That's always consider the people that you're bringing around. And it's also true that sometimes there's some relationships that no longer serve us. Sometimes there's some relationships that it might be best to let go of, to let go, to learn, to grow, and evolve. I'll give you an example. I had a couple that came to me, and they were really looking to create energetic integrity within their relationship, and the ex-boyfriend kept calling the girl. And they, to the point of harassment, like he was just calling all the time. So what I suggested to them was that they cut the energetic ties with him through a process which is known as the forgiveness process that we're going to go through as a group. We're going to talk about energy. We're going to be talking about things a little bit differently for this part of the process. But I suggested they cut the energetic ties. Now, if you cut the energetic ties with somebody through this process, if they're energetically attuned at all, they might feel it. So they cut the ties. They went through the process, cut the ties. The guy called up right away. He says, I just didn't feel connected. By the way, that happens. So we need to make sure for this part of the process that all the beepers, cell phones, pagers are on stun. Because I get every single time we do this, we get people calling in and stuff. It's just, I'm sorry, it just happens. So at that point, I said, well, what you then do is you cut the ties again. And they cut the ties again. At that point, he disappeared from their experience of the world. And I don't say that that sounds kind of selfish. But I mean, there's people that appear in your experience of the world. There's people that don't. And at that point, he went off to learn, to grow, and evolve. And by the way, wasn't that also the best thing for him? Yeah. So in that case, sometimes it's best to let people go like that. There may be other cases where it's best where there's times where we need to let go of the past or let go of relationships of the past. Who might you want to cut the energetic ties with? I don't know. Maybe exes. Maybe people that have passed on as well. The Hawaiian shaman Teneo Sans Kumalai once said to her disciples, she said, when I pass on, she says, please let me go. By keeping me here, you keep me bound here. So when I go, let me go. It was an interesting concept because I was having this conversation with another class in San Jose, California. And there was a man that came up to me, walked up to me in the class, and he went through the process, the forgiveness process of cutting the energetic ties. And he told me that his son had died the week before, his 19-year-old son. And in the class, he cut the energetic ties through the forgiveness process. And he said the experience was amazing for him. He said it really brought home to him a concept that he had heard in a story not too shortly there before. He said, but the process itself really brought it in at a neurological level where he really got to experience it rather than just intellectualizing it. I'll share the story that he shared because it touched me and it was that profound for me. He said there was a Native American man, a Native American Indian, whose son had also passed away. And this was just a story that he was told by somebody else, this man. He said his son had also passed away. And he said he had a recurring dream after his son had passed away for like 4 nights in a row. You guys ever had those dreams where you had the dream over and over again? Yeah. So he had a dream like that for 4 nights in a row where he would look up and there was a stairway and his son was standing up on the top and he had 2 buckets in his hand like this and he was stuck and he wasn't moving. And the Native American man, the father in the dream, would try to cry out to the son, but he couldn't speak until the 4th night. And on the 4th night, finally he could speak out and he said, son, why aren't you moving? What are you doing? Why aren't you going? And the boy says, Father, you're keeping me here. He said, these buckets are your tears. And for me, that story was very profound for the man. He said the process that we're about to do was a process that allowed him to let go and really get that concept and really kind of took that concept to the next step. Perhaps if there's people that have passed on, it might be good to cut the energetic ties, to let them to go, to learn, to grow, and evolve. What it does is, it doesn't necessarily, if you cut the ties, you have the choice of doing it in one of two different ways. Either to let go of somebody permanently, in which case they'll go off to learn, to grow, and evolve, disappear from your experience of the world, or to cut the ties so that you can reconnect with them in a new way. Because sometimes there's relationships that perhaps maybe there's negative energy that's built up. We need to cut the energetic ties so that we can see that person anew. I say that parents will oftentimes keep their children as children through their calcified view of them. They see them as they were rather than who they've become. And so sometimes it might be good to cut the energetic ties with your children so you can see your children anew and see them as who they are today rather than who they were years ago. How many of you would like at the end of the workday to leave work at work and then come home and be fully present at home and leave all the issues with people and all that type of stuff at work? Anybody like that? Okay. This process could be good for that as well, cutting the energetic ties with inner relationships that you have in the workplace at the end of the day so that the next day first off, so you can leave that there, and the next day you can go back and reconnect with them in a new way, see them anew. Dale Carnegie talked about living in day-tight compartments. He said on a ship at sea, if there's a leak in the ship, it'll take the whole ship down. But if you close down the compartments, then it'll only fill up one compartment rather than taking the entire ship down. And he said that's what we can do with our lives, but he never explained how to do it. This process, what it'll do is when you cut the energetic ties, it'll allow you to reconnect in a new way. Yeah, so you can actually leave things behind you at the end of the day, or leave relationships. If there's a relationship issue, you can cut the energetic ties so you can connect with that person in a new way. If you're a coach of any sort, you may want to cut the energetic ties with the people you're coaching so that you can see them as beings of light. If you're a teacher, you may want to cut the energetic ties with your students so you can see them anew, see them really as being the beings of light that they are. So I used to do this process on a nightly basis. I'd go home and I'd cut the energetic ties with everybody in my life so that when I saw them, if I chose to let them go, I could. But if I saw for those ones that I chose to keep in my experience, I could reconnect with them in a new way and really see them as the beings of light that they are. In a relationship, even in a current relationship, you might want to cut the energetic ties so that you can reconnect in a new way. Does that make sense? Yeah, kind of fun. It's a fun process to do. And it's a lot about letting go of some of the baggage of the past as well. So let's talk about energy here just for a second. Everybody for a moment, take your hands like this, palms. I'm going to rub them fast and hard together. As fast as you can, fast as you can, fast as you can. Faster, 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 harder, harder, harder. Get a lot of heat, lot of heat, lot of heat. A lot of more, lot of more, lot of more. Go, 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 go. Boy Scouts starting a fire. Go, 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 go. Lot of heat, 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 heat. Warm them up, warm them up, warm them up, warm them up, and stop. Woo! And bring the hands in and out from each other. And at some point, either closer in, or for some of you, it'll be way out here, you'll feel a magnetic pull between the hands. For some people, it may be out here. For others, it may be in closer. But at some point, you'll feel a magnetic draw between the hands. Y'all feel that? Yep. That's the energy between the hands. Now, the Hawaiians, I used to live in Hawaii, the ancient Hawaiians would call that aka. It's the energetic, if you could see it, it might look like a thin, wispy, ethereal, spiderwebby-like substance that would attach them. Now, in ancient times, they used to say that anytime you'd come into contact with something, you'd leave an energetic trail. Like you touch something, you'd leave an energetic trail. Or even if you thought about somebody strongly, you'd create an energetic trail. So these are the energetic ties that we're going to cut. If you want to reconnect with somebody afterwards, all you have to do is think about them and you'll reconnect that tie. But you can reconnect it in a new way. So you may want to cut the energetic ties with everybody and then just reconnect with them all anew. Why not? If you want to let them go, then just don't think about them. However, realize that they can reconnect with you by thinking about you as well. So in which case, if that happens, you just go through the process again. You cut the energetic ties again.